we'll solve a word problem involving fractions and recipes. A man wants to make a recipe that requires 3/4 of a unit of chicken. However, he only has 1/2 of a unit of chicken. The question is, what fraction of the recipe can he make with the chicken he has? Let's visualize this. Imagine the full amount of chicken needed for the recipe. We can represent this as a bar divided into 4 equal parts, since the recipe needs 3/4. The recipe requires 3 of these 4 parts. Let's shade these 3 parts yellow. This represents the 3/4 needed. Now, let's represent the amount of chicken the man actually has. He has 1/2 a unit. 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. Let's shade 2 of these 4 parts blue to show the amount he has. By comparing the blue shaded area, what he has, to the yellow shaded area, what is needed, we can see the fraction of the recipe he can make. He has 2 parts, but the recipe needs 3 parts. So, he has 2 out of the 3 needed parts. This visually shows he can make 2/3 of the recipe. Now, let's solve this mathematically. To find what fraction of the recipe can be made, we need to divide the amount of chicken we have by the amount the recipe requires. So, we need to calculate 1/2 divided by 3/4. Remember that dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. The reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. So, our calculation becomes 1/2 multiplied by 4/3. We multiply the numerators together, 1 times 4 is 4, and the denominators together, 2 times 3 is 6. This gives us 4/6. The fraction 4/6 can be simplified. Both 4 and 6 are divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. So, the simplified fraction is 2/3. This matches our visual result. So, the man can make 2/3 of the recipe with the 1/2 unit of chicken he has. Hello. Today, we'll walk through a time zone calculation example. We want to figure out what time it is in Los Angeles when it's 10 a.m. in Singapore using some specific, non-standard GMT offsets provided for this problem. First, let's list the information we're given for this specific calculation. Singapore time, or SGT, is given as GMT minus 8. Los Angeles time, or LA time, is given as GMT plus 7. The meeting time in Singapore is 10 a.m. Step 1 is to find the time difference between these 2 specific time zones. We calculate this by subtracting the LA GMT offset from the SGT GMT offset. So, we have minus 8 minus positive 7. This gives us a time difference of minus 15 hours. This means, according to these specific offsets, SGT is 15 hours behind LA time. Step 2 is to calculate the corresponding time in Los Angeles. We can find the LA time by taking the SGT time and subtracting the time difference we just calculated. So, that's 10 a.m. minus negative 15 hours. Subtracting a negative is the same as adding. So we have 10 a.m. plus 15 hours. Adding 15 hours to 10 a.m. gives us 25:00 in 24-hour format. Step 3 involves adjusting the time, because 25:00 is more than 24 hours. This indicates that the time has passed midnight and moved into the next day. To find the actual time on the clock, we subtract 24 hours from 25:00. 25 minus 24 equals 1. So, the time is 1 a.m., but importantly, it's on the next day. So, putting it all together, we arrive at our final answer. If the meeting is at 10 a.m. Singapore time, using the given offset of GMT minus 8, the time in Los Angeles, using the given offset of GMT plus 7, will be 1 a.m. on the next day. It's important to note that the GMT offsets used in this example, GMT minus 8 for Singapore and GMT plus 7 for Los Angeles, are not the standard real-world time zones for these locations. This calculation was based purely on the provided numbers. Hello. Today, we'll figure out how to convert time between different time zones. Specifically, we'll find out what time it is in Los Angeles when it's 10 a.m. in Singapore. First, let's identify the standard time zones for both locations. Singapore time, or SGT, is UTC plus 8. Los Angeles time, in this example using UTC minus 7, is UTC minus 7. UTC stands for Coordinated Universal Time, which is the primary time standard by which the world regulates clocks and time. We can visualize this on a number line representing UTC offsets. Here's UTC 0. Singapore is 8 hours ahead of UTC. Los Angeles is 7 hours behind UTC. Step 1 is to find the time difference between Singapore and Los Angeles. We subtract the Los Angeles UTC offset from the Singapore UTC offset. So that's plus 8 minus negative 7. Minus a negative becomes plus. So it's 8 plus 7, which equals 15 hours. This means Singapore is 15 hours ahead of Los Angeles. Step 2 is to convert the Singapore time to Los Angeles time. We start with 10 a.m. in Singapore. Since Los Angeles is behind Singapore, we subtract the time difference from the Singapore time. So we calculate 10 a.m. minus 15 hours. Subtracting 10 hours gets us to midnight at the beginning of the same day. We still need to subtract 5 more hours. 10 a.m. minus 15 hours gives us negative 5 hours. A negative result means the time is on the previous day. To find the actual time, we add 24 hours to this negative result. Negative 5 plus 24 equals 19. 1900 hours in 24-hour format is 7 p.m. in 12-hour format. Crucially, this is 7 p.m. on the previous day. So let's summarize our final answer. When it is 10 a.m. in Singapore, which is UTC plus 8, it is 7 p.m. on the previous day in Los Angeles, which is UTC minus 7.